And here are the official results of the count votes in 2022 legislative elections.
According to information from the National Registrar's Office, the count of votes for the election of the House of Representatives for our department was as follows. The Colombian Liberal Party obtained 34.44% of the votes, that is to say 8,253, which were divided as follows. Elizabeth Jaypang, 3,875 votes. Bernardo Bent, 2,766 votes. Just for the list, 859. Arlington Howard, 753 votes. The coalition Partido de la U and Colombia Justas Libres obtained 28.08% of the votes, that is to say 6,229 votes, which were divided as follows. Carlos Brian Uribe, 3,999 votes. Ligia Rojas, 1,500 votes. Just for the list, 672 votes, and Arnold Joshua Brown, 558 votes. On the other hand, the closed list of the Cambio Radical Party obtained 27.02% of the votes, that is to say 6,475. It should be recalled that this closed list was led by the current representative Jorge Mendes. The political party Mira obtained 77% of the votes, that is to say 426, which were divided as follows. Just for the list, 200 votes. Carlos Oges, 133. Estaquia Montaño, 93. The Centro Democrático Party obtained 385 votes, which corresponds to 60% of the vote in that party of the candidate was Eliezer Jose Gomez. Lastly, the Colombia Renaciente Party obtained 94 votes, that is to say 39%, for its candidate Hermesenda Cantillo. Thus, the two seats in the House of Representatives in this tally are for the Colombian Liberal Party with the current representative Elizabeth Jaypang, and for the coalition of the Partido de la U and the Colombia Justas Libres Party with Carlos Alberto Brian Uribe.
After the results of this weekend's elections that left two candidates elected to the House of Representatives for the archipelago were announced, candidate Jaypang spoke about her victory earlier.
The candidate Elizabeth Jaypang held a press conference this afternoon where she expressed her satisfaction for having obtained one of the two seats to represent the archipelago in the House of Representatives.
Quiero darle gracias a Dios por esta nueva oportunidad.
I want to thank God for this new opportunity that He has given me to represent the archipelago in the House of Representatives, to each one of my supporters, to each one of the people who made possible my campaign and my re-election to the House, but also to my work team from the Liberal Party. Today, I want to invite the entire community of the islands. Our department needs our love, and we must continue to work together so that we can give results that validate the change, and more importantly, the need to solve the different problems that this department has.
The candidate and current representative of the archipelago in the House for the Liberal Party referred to her political adversary during the electoral race, candidate Carlos Bryan, as well as extended her support to Nicolás Gallardo as candidate for governor.
Hoy la suerte acompañó al Dr. Bryan y creo que es un coequiper.
I think he has many skills that could perfectly fit with mine. I am a social promoter who seeks to be in the community giving results. I know that with all the engineering skills that he has, we will be able to do many things for the department. I give my full support to Nicolás Gallardo as a candidate for governor of this department.
Jaypang emphasized that she will continue to develop bills that seek to benefit the racial ethnic population and the entire archipelago.
The following is an expansion on the statement made by candidate-elect for the House of Representatives, Carlos Bryan, regarding his work plan in the Congress.
With pride and great satisfaction, the elected candidate Carlos Bryan spoke to the media and the community about his intention to work for and with the people of the archipelago without division or selfishness. He will work for the entire community equally.
Hay un tema que es de compromiso y responsabilidad.
There is a theme that is of commitment and responsibility. Every position I have taken, every time I take it, I assume a responsibility because I must dedicate myself to that. I have taken it out of conviction. As a result, we have been able to build a team, and in that way, San Andres will have a true representative.
Bryan pointed out that he will give full support to his fellow candidate-elected Elizabeth Jaypang.
Dr. Elizabeth is the elected parliamentarian, and she will have my full support and collaboration. Besides the fact that we have been friends for many years, and I will not go to generate rivalries or confrontations to the Congress with my fellow compatriot.
He was also emphatic that the work is aimed at social work, and for this he will donate 30% of his salaries.
I already stated that we were going to give 30% of my salaries, and we were going to do it on the first Saturday of every month through a foundation of the inheritors of the grandchildren of my mother. May she rest in peace.
Finally, regarding the fact that Congressman Jorge Mendes announced through his social network that he had requested a recount of all the votes, the candidate said,
"The community, for better or worse, has already made its decision. So let them scrutinize calmly, but the community can be absolutely certain that the difficult thing was to win the seat. The easy thing is to defend it. Because with Carlitos Bryan, for those who know me, they know that I am not like that. That they are going to come and they are going to do a disappearance of 254 votes in some ballot boxes that they did not obtain. I know that they are coming with a bad habit."
This news agency will be attentive to whether the recount of all the vote cast in yesterday's congressional election is approved.
The current House Representative Jorge Mendes offers some words on social networks regarding the legislative elections of yesterday, March 13, calling for a total recount of the votes.
Throughout a message on his social networks, the current House Representative Jorge Mendes thanks all his followers. He also announced that they will formally request the total recounts of votes due to alleged inconsistencies evidenced in the formats of the tables. This was the message of the candidate for the Cambio Radical Party. I quote,
"I want once again to thank everyone for all the love and support shown during the campaign and in the latest hours. At the same time, I would like to express that due to the serious irregularities and inconsistencies evidenced in the E14 forms of some tables and being the margin so narrow, today in the scrutiny we will request the total recount of the votes, especially in those tables in which complaints have been filed just yesterday. I am respectful of democracy and due process. Once the recount and scrutiny are finished, I will make my statement on the final result."
Let's recall that Jorge Mendes currently holds a seat in the House of Representatives for our department for the constitutional period 2018 and 2022. However, in these elections, he obtained 27.02% of the votes, that is to say 6,475 in the closed list for his party, which was surpassed by the Liberal Party and the coalition Partido de la U and Colombia Justas Libres.
The departmental government delivered a statement of condition on how was the citizen behavior on the elections of yesterday, March 13, and the situations that arose during the course of the day.
The elections of this Sunday, March 13, took place largely under normal parameters in the insular archipelago. Thousands of people went to the polls to exercise their right to vote, being the population over 25 years of age the one that was perceived with more presence in the voting stations. Governor Everett Hawkins gave a statement of condition of the elections and the events that took place.
Hemos tenido el reporte de una persona capturada.
We have had the report of a captured person who was at the Brookside School. He was exercising his right to vote. When the system was alerted that this person was being requested by an arrest warrant under the crime of rape, and there were other isolated situations that occurred but have not been registered as electoral crimes. In general, the statement of condition shows a positive result. There was tranquility in Providence as in the main island.
The authorities also reported a low voter turnout in these elections in the island.
Sí, hubo una baja afluencia de sufragantes.
But there was a low voter turnout, and that was noticeable in all sectors of the island.
So far, the authorities do not report that any electoral crime has occurred in the archipelago. However, Teleislas News will be attentive to any statement made by the registrar and the National Police on the behavior of citizens during the elections.
And the director of the Sectional Directorate of the Prosecutor's Office announced in the transmission of our regional channel, Teleislas, that on the election day there were 2 captures corresponding to citizens who had criminal records.
La Dirección Seccional de Fiscalía de San Andrés.
We have to tell the community that today in the legislative elections, the Sectional Directorate of the Prosecutor's Office of San Andres, linked to the directive issued by the Attorney General of the nation, has arranged personnel from the Prosecutor's Office and the CTI in the 8 justice tables, in the 8 voting stations, as well as in the headquarters of the entity in San Andres and Providence, in order to investigate and prosecute the criminal conducts that occur in relation to the electoral contest and that affect and threaten the democratic security. To date and time, the technical body of investigation officialized 2 arrest warrants for the crimes of rape and sexual abuse to children under 14 years.
In the same way, the director of the Prosecutor Office of the island announced that in the Luis Amigo School there was an alleged fraud in which a citizen approached the table and was informed that with her document number, the correspondent vote has already been made. Therefore, she reported that several years ago she denounced the loss of her document. In view of this, the citizen must go to the Prosecutor Office to follow up the due process.
And now we continue with Millicent O'Neill and the news of the Municipality of Old Providence and Santa Catalina.
Good evening to everyone. This is the most relevant news from Old Providence and Catalina. The elections for the House and Senate in the Municipality of Old Providence and Catalina took place in complete peace. The following is a summary of what happened.
From early hours, the people of Old Providence went to the polls to exercise their constitutional right to vote and thus elect the congressmen or women who will represent them for the next 4 years. The total number of voters in the municipality was 2,320 out of 4,428 passable voters, a participation of only 52%. After the pre-count, there were 25 unmarked votes, 44 null votes, 77 blank votes, and 2,251 votes for parties or candidates. The winner in the municipality was the Cambio Radical Party, headed by Congressman Jorge Mendes, who obtained 43%, summing 978 total votes. In second place, the Liberal Party obtained 42% of the remaining votes, headed by former Mayor Bernardo Bent with 708, followed by Congresswoman Elizabeth Jaypang with 111. The party gathered 105, and Arlington Howard got 23 votes for a total of 947 votes. The coalition of the U Party and the Colombia Justa Libre accrued 9% of the results with 213 votes, 75 for Legia Rojas, 71 for Carlos Bryan, and 28 for Arnold Brown. The Mira Party obtained 24 votes, 9 for Liz, 9 for Carlos Hodges, and 7 for Eustacia Montaño. The Democratic Center candidate Eliezer Gomez obtained 17 votes, and the candidate for the party Colombia Renaciente Mircenda Castillo 3 votes. Despite these results in the municipality, the pre-count at the departmental level leaves as winners of the 2 seats Congresswoman Elizabeth Jaypang, who repeats, and the engineer Carlos Bryan, who would be replacing the Representative Jorge Mendes on the 2nd seat.
And this news agency went out to the streets to gather the perception of the community after the results of the elections held in the municipality.
Although some residents on the island preferred not to give their opinion on the outcome of the elections, some shared their feelings about this event held yesterday to choose the House representatives.
I believe that this is the will of the people, and each one decides, and I believe that the people decided what they wanted. I believe that the results of the elections should be the way they were, and the other thing, as a Christian, I know that everything is done under the will of the Lord. It is God who sets and God who takes away. So whatever God does is okay.
He decided to run each side do them best. Each side put dedication, time, and well, you know, saying that this thing we got a winner and a loser, and who win and who lose. And if we not got good loser, you can't go with neither, so you have to learn to lose and win.
Furthermore, others were also indignant about the lack of support for the Providence candidate.
But I see that the Providence people at least they should realize and see what the representative is from Providence. We should apoyar him 100%. I don't see why they should apoyar somebody else.
If I have my candidate from my place, from my homeland, I have to go with my candidate. I can't go against the next candidate, go with the next candidate when I have my candidate running. So I have to run for my candidate and vote for my people all the time.
This is all the information we have for this section of Old Providence and Catlina. Continue in San Andres with more Teleislas News. Good night.
Thank you, Millie. And this journalistic host extends a hug of solidarity to the family of Fabian Perez, well known as Hetty, who, according to information known by Teleislas, died a few minutes ago in the departmental hospital, where he had been hospitalized since last night when he was injured by a firearm. This is fact of investigation. This is all for tonight. We see you tomorrow at 1 p.m. with more Teleislas News. Good night.